Welcome to Absurdly Nerd. We just finished watching episode 1 of The Last of Us on HBO Max. So this is going to be kind of a spoiler assessment review. We'll probably give a little bit of a review score on it. Just kind of talking about our feelings and our thoughts on the episode. Right off the bat, we haven't really talked about it. We just watched this together and we didn't really talk about it. We kind of held back to do it on camera. What are your impressions?
First, just quick fire impressions. Casting is perfect. Yep. I think the casting is great. The feel, settings, and all that feel like they don't feel like sets.
They look like, just like the game.
Yeah. And I'm really jealous of the people who don't know where this story goes.
Oh yeah, yeah. We watched it with my wife, and the whole time I was just looking at her like, is she getting the feelings that I had when I played the game? Because like it really does. It feels spot on with that, but just brought to life. Like a moment that I really think of is when the moment where Sarah and Joel get shot and him going down that hill. I was like, holy crap. Like it looks shot for shot exactly like it did when you played the game. And there's so much of that.
I thought I was going to be numb to that scene. I was like, I've seen that scene 3 or 4 times.
I was like, I know it's coming. Yeah.
But God, Pedro Pascal acted his ass.
Oh yeah, he did. Good. Yeah, I got teary. I really didn't expect to because I was like, I've seen this, I've played this, I've done it multiple times now. The show's not going to do anything that.
But starting at the beginning, I love opening in the 60s, talking about the virus and the fungi and all that. Like it sets up what this is without. Yeah. So like Walking Dead, for example.
Right.
You never know.
They made it ambiguous in those.
You never know what caused it. But this right here is like, we're going to start out with what caused it, so we won't ask that every episode. And,
Yeah, I think that I give them a lot of props for that because most zombie things don't really do that. Like I said it right from there. I was like, oh, there's a big plus for me, to right out the gate, do something different from other zombie things and distinguish yourself. And it really does. It clears the air and it separates them from other infections that, are more ambiguous. And it's like, oh, I can picture what's happening inside of each of these people. And it's still a person in there. Like it makes them more human, even though they're infected and ravenous and everything. Like it set up a really good rest of the show, whatever may come next, I
love the first 30 minutes were spent with Sarah because that is the first character you play as in the game. And having make you like that character a whole lot, and then rip it away, and then it focuses on Joe. Yeah,
somehow it did an even better job than the game. I mean, it had more time to do that.
I was wondering if it would, but it really did. I just have no complaints about this yet.
Right. We watched the extras behind the scenes stuff after, and they had a good point. Like if you didn't know that she was gonna die, if you hadn't played the games, you could have believed she was gonna be like the main protagonist. Along for the whole ride, and then bam, she's dead. And it's like they set it up in a way that it was believable that she was not just there to die.
And what I didn't think about it going into the show, but like the game is gun combat, hiding behind,
right?
And it's not. We didn't really see that in the first episode, but I appreciate the story that they built in the first episode.
Right.
Instead of like going straight to action scenes, they built these characters out and fleshed them out and like gave you the setting of what's going on.
Yeah, I don't think there obviously will be those shootout moments. The whole time I was thinking about in the game in the early parts where you're doing the obvious like tutorial first fights with the Firefly section there, that's where you get into your first combat. And I was like kind of dreading it. All the Robert stuff and everything.
I was kind of dreading it.
I'm kind of glad they left that out.
Yeah.
Like it is literally just there to show you, hey, this is what the combat's going to be, and then we get outside the wall,
in touch with the Fireflies to get Ellie, and that's all that was for anyway. So and they did it just as good.
Yeah, they streamlined it, I think. But you said the casting, that to me is the thing that makes this great. Like they got it spot on with everyone. Nothing feels phony. Like I compared it to The Lord of the Rings. And that's different because it's a show to a show or a movie to a show, like it's not, that wasn't trying to recreate it, but something felt off and, not right about it, like kind of generic off brand, even though they spent a ridiculous amount of money on it. But with this, it feels like I'm watching the game. And I know for some people that's not a good thing.
Right.
Like they wanted it to do a different spin on it, but I wanted it to be brought to life in a way, not to discredit games. Obviously, I love games as much as anybody. But the mainstream can watch this and not think, oh, this is just a video game, shooty video game. Like this is an emotional story being told in an HBO kind of way. And I'm great that it's so great that it's turning out.
What I'm excited to see is like when they go off the beaten path, like given certain like Bill backstory that we kind of get notes and stuff.
Right.
But now we'll get to see it play out. And I wonder if when we go back to play Last of Us, will we make those same lore connections in our head and stuff like that? Like, I think if it fleshes out this world, like it's doing this property nothing but good things.
Oh yeah, and as I was watching, I was thinking it makes more sense that they remade the first one.
Yeah.
For the people that this pushes to the game,
right?
Because like it probably would have felt a little like some of the animations weren't as good in 2013. Like they were still really good for the time, and I still liked them. But bringing it up to where Last of Us 2 is, it does a lot for the people that jump in after watching this show.
Well, both Last of Us games has pushed the console they're on to the limits. Like it came out the end of PS3 era and in a PS4 era, and they both pushed those consoles hard. So I am glad they remade it because, like you said, when people watch this series, they will want to play the game.
It makes it.
Some of them, you know, it's like Witcher and Cyberpunk. Like the numbers boosted after the show and stuff came out. So
well, we now know that they're making this season will be the whole first game.
Yeah.
So we got to assume the second season will be the whole second game, and that just kind of makes the two games even. Like they're the same thing when you go and revisit those together. Just like the show is going to be the same. You know, like feel the same. So it brings everything up on the same level. As far as this episode goes, I'm trying to go point by point here. Like the little changes they did make, I do like the stuff with the neighbor, you know, like getting to see her interacting with the neighbor and just something I hadn't thought of with the elderly or, you know, people disabled, like this thing will take over anyone. This infection will.
And then they don't have anything holding the handicaps and anything back. Like I forgot that the zombies ran in this game until we watched that. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah,
like,
the way she came after her was terrifying. I'm trying to think of my score here, and if we're doing it like on an A, B, C grading, I'm giving it a solid A. It would be an A+, but there's a few things that at times felt a little show-like, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I love the design of the zombies in terms of like, I can kind of see the actor in there a little too much. Like whenever they were chased through the bar, like that, I could just see the actor. The zombies, I hope that they're better, especially with the clickers and stuff. I feel like that'll be better, but like sometimes it's just too. It's Walking Dead set it up in a really good way that I don't see the actor as much. Yeah, you know, like, it's not a huge thing. Wasn't terrible. It's just one of the only immersion breaking moments I had, and it was only a small immersion.
We won't see younger zombies. Well, we won't see those kind of zombies. I don't think again. So
maybe
that's true. This species will be kind of cool.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that. There'll be more that are turned for a while and going to have the fungus on them.
A little segment we can do. I mean, we can wait till we close out or whatever. But let's do moment of the show. Like what moment?
Yeah, my favorite moment. I got to think that whenever Joel flipped out, remembering Sarah and punched his face in. Like, I mean, it was a lot of emotions because that guy wasn't completely evil or anything, and like he was just doing his job for some, to some extent. But
it's hard to make those characteristics in the game that Joe is not all good, and they do a good job of showing that. Yeah,
because you're playing as him, so it's harder to see his downsides. Yeah. But in this show, you're already seeing it. You can tell, even the way he was with Tommy and before everything happened, you could tell he had that kind of a dickhead attitude about it. Like, he's a construction worker. He kind of has that, construction worker thing about him. Sorry for any construction workers watching this, but you know what I mean.
I would say my moment of show was, or episode was the part where in the truck and the camera is like in the back seat with the way it was. I don't know. The way that was filmed was really cool.
It was like you're riding along on this. Yeah. And then it's so much easier to picture this in real life.
But it felt just like the game. That moment felt like the game. Like, you're sitting as Sarah watching all the stuff going. And that was an awesome scene, I think.
Yeah. I think that is a really good one to point out because that's what games do so well is immerse you in what's happening, and that's why that's my favorite medium. But this show did a really good job of, at times I felt that way, I was really invested in it.
I'm like you. I'm gonna give this an A for sure, and I'm excited to do this every week.
Oh yeah, it's gonna only go up from here. I think
HBO was the right fit for this show. I couldn't imagine it being on anything else.
There's not a better pick for any show, in my opinion. I think HBO is the class of TV. But I think an A. I think this is the perfect way to start this season. Like, I think that keeping it closer, shot for shot type in the early going will get the people like us, know what we're there for. It won't. I feel like if you went too far off from it, people would be like, it'd feel awkward. Yeah. But the fact that they did it that way, it felt, legitimate. So now I think they have room to do some more off the beaten path stuff, probably through memories more than anything, which is what I kind of hope for it to be, like you said with Bill. But yeah, next week, episode 2. We don't know the titles of the episode yet.
No, we don't know.
But this one was what? In the Darkness, when you're alone in the darkness.
It's a Firefly thing, I think.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Oh, I wasn't expecting Bella Ramsey to sound so much like Ellie.
Yeah, it's the cadence, the way she speaks. She kind of sounds like her too. Like she doesn't sound not like her, but it's the way that she delivers the lines. It's a lot like Ashley Johnson. Ashley Johnson. Yeah,
it's really good. I was like,
I'm ready for their cameos. Now I don't know how that's going to be.
I know what Roy's is pretty much from the trailer.
Is he going to be over there with Tommy?
No, he's part of the bad group. The rough group.
Yeah. But yeah, let us know what you thought of the episode. I hope you watched it if you watched this. Like, we've spoiled a lot if you didn't. But let us know what you think and if you're excited for the rest of it and if you want to see more seasons out of this. But until next time, stay nerdy.